Hi there, Danny Crouch here. It's Monday morning. Just completed my intake weekend. I've got something to share with you, as anyone who was in the group over the weekend knows. I'm a sharer and I've got plenty to say. But a pretty amazing thing happened to me after the intake, and I've been pondering overnight whether or not to tell my story. But I'm going to, and as those that were in my group appreciate, I've put this together on a YouTube channel to follow the path of when I joined the Coaching Institute 2 months ago, and to follow my progress and from who I was to who I've become. And I want to share this for you, and for those that know what they know and they know me, they know why I'm doing this and also what I've been through and the changes that I've made. Pretty massive, enlightening sort of changes, and the simplest way to put it is I had to get out of my head and into the inside of me. So when I'm talking, I might find, or you might hear, or I will, what I'm working on doing is saying change, and that means a thought's come to my mind that my brain is taking over and it's not coming from here. So if I constantly say change and I change directions of what I'm thinking, I don't need to explain this to you, you'll get the gist after a while. A big thing, where do I go? Do I go straight to the story last night? Let's go straight to the story last night. Walked out of the intake room, we've had all the conversations, and someone came up to me, and my whole process was about getting my ego out of the way, moving it constantly out of the way. Basically a lot of what we learnt, what Joe was saying and how it impacted on me and how it developed my map, was about my ego and how I've been carrying it for the last 15 years, and it made decisions for me, which was my brain taking over from what I actually felt. And what he said to me was, what you've been doing and your realisation and the journey that you've taken over the last few days is amazing, but do you realise that by telling us that your ego has changed in the past is actually your ego telling us that your ego has gone in the past? And I didn't know how to take that. It actually hit me for six, and it almost cut. And I've come to realise a few different things, and I'll get to that over time, and you'll begin to understand where I'm coming from. And this is the realm of what we learn over the weekend, of coming from what I know from what I know I don't know, and what I don't know I don't know. And all this stuff that we learn is really starting to surface, and the more time that goes through, the more I'm feeling these things. I'm smiling here because I can see out of the corner of my eye Nick's listening and watching, and if you watch any of the other videos up until this point, it's all been very internal. It's all been me. I've had to lock myself in the room, I've had to lock myself in the hotel room, hasn't been great surroundings. It's all about me. So in other words, it's been about myself and myself only, and it's been about my story, and that's grown. That's part of the process of this videoing, that you'll see that it's grown from just self, and it's moved over to self, and now it's moving into self and others. And what I mean by that is I use these videos to be accountable for me, and what I did is I expressed that by suggesting to my group that they can use these videos, they can watch them on YouTube, because they helped me go through this process. And they need to know, and they need to be reminded of what they're capable of doing as a coach, because they took me on this journey, and they were the powerful ones that got me to where I was. So as Joe puts it, you know, he gets up at 5:10 in the morning, and there are days where he doesn't want to go on, and they're going to be tough days. And I came into the weekend thinking that they're going to get rid of those tough days, they're just all going to be great days, and I'm going to want to go running every day, and I'm not going to be confronted by these days I'm not going to do. I know that's unrealistic, I know that's not necessarily possible. It's about getting up to those days where you don't want to do it, and you want to just push yourself or be carried along to getting to where you want to go. And I'm hoping you can use these videos in that sense. And you don't have to watch them every day. It can just be a good day, or some not so good day, that you might need a pep up to remind you of what it does. And what that allows me to do is to provide a vehicle for people to be motivated. So to be, for me to be accountable, I need to be able to help others as well. And the insightful thing here for me is the people that want to watch it want to watch it for the reason that they do. If they want to call me a wanker, that's fine. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the people that can actually appreciate this and actually get something from it. So the people that aren't even watching it, they're the ones I don't know about. So I don't know, that's great. And I don't know whether or not you're watching it or not, it doesn't matter. And this is this whole mind-blowing stuff, which takes me to the next path, and I'm going to go all over the place because I'm really scattered with my thoughts because it's coming from here, it's not coming from here. And it's just blowing my mind. So this is blowing this, which is what happened over the weekend in an internal... Anyway, change. Let's get back to what happened last night. So I didn't know how to take this concept, and after having an enlightening, magical experience over the 3 days, it's almost like this guy went, bang, punched me in the head. And I said, no, you're not allowed to feel that great. I've got to remind you of your ego, and to blah, 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 blah. And by that stage, pretty much everyone had walked out. And I just sat there and listened, and didn't go into too much detail. And then within the space of what came to me, 5 seconds, he was gone. So I was the last one there. I was waiting for Julie. We were going to go catch the shuttle bus. She went down to Macca's to get something, and I got left there by myself, which is fantastic in the sense that I had to work through this on my own. I didn't need someone else to wallow in any pity. I needed to identify that this was a problem and move into the solution rather than just focus on the problem. So where I found today and overnight, and whether I slept or not slept, and whether it came to me through my sleep or not, it was about... in the past, I used to wallow on the problem, and whether I looked towards a solution or not, I don't know, and I didn't spend enough time on the solution. So this is not about me remembering my ego, and this is not my ego telling me how good this is or how bad this is. This is me identifying my ego and going, right, that's not a problem, I'm going to move forward. And I wouldn't have done that 3 days ago, and I'm doing it now. So that's test one, and this is an event that took, we left 5:30. I got home on the Gold Coast at about 11 o'clock last night. So that happened. Julie came in, I sort of opened up a little bit, told her that's all I needed to do. She didn't dwell on it, she didn't try and suck anything out. I really appreciate that, it was fantastic. We changed the subject, we talked about other things, got on the bus and went. So test number one, done, out of the way, not a problem. Test number two, get off the shuttle bus. Julie's there packing her bags. The text message didn't come through from a boarding pass, so I know I've got to go and queue up. How good am I at queues? Frustration, anger normally comes in, not today, not anymore. I say to Julie, look, I know you've got your boarding pass, I'll meet you inside, I'll just go and queue up. Walk in the door, they open, bang, there's queues a mile long. 2 planes have been cancelled, and it looks like what could take hours and hours and hours. No problem, I can handle this. Went and queued up, half an hour later, halfway through the queue. I think, oh hang on, maybe I should tell Julie where I am. Send her a text saying, caught up, I'll be there a little while, see you soon. Didn't think anything of it, put the phone away, just daydreaming, whatever, enjoying the moment, half smiling, all this sort of stuff, reflecting, all that sort of brilliant stuff. Moved into the phone ring, it was Julie. Oh look, I'm at Qantas, you're at Jetstar, we're in completely different terminals. We're not going to be able to spend the next 3 hours waiting for our planes together, I'm not going to have someone to talk about. Guess what? I've got to reflect. I've got to look at this all by myself. Test number two. I can do this easy. By this stage, I can feel my body starting to release and the tiredness set in. 2 hours sleep on the Saturday night, really kicking in with all the energy and all the thought process and what I had to give and get from Joe and all this stuff in the group. Really started to play on me, and I could start to feel tired. And I looked at this queue and I had halfway to go. But looking back on it, it flew by. It didn't bother me. But that was test number two. Test 2A. I heard a girl behind me. She was on the phone. Oh, I'm so tired. What do I do? What do I do? Do I just want to pack my bag, put them in the checkout thing, and then go and lie down and fall asleep while I wait for my plane. And I sat there and thought, geez, is this a moment I could do something to make someone smile? Could I turn around to this girl and say, here, why not you have it come in front of me? I've got 3 hours to wait. I didn't act, I didn't do it. I didn't think too much about it, I didn't dwell on it, not an issue. If I wasn't meant to do it, I wasn't meant to do it. But I also, actually, I'll get to that, went through, checked through, test 2 and test 2A out of the way. Test 3, I have this concept, and this is when you look for something, it always happens. when I go through the airport, because I'm 6'4" and I'm dark in skin and I'm big and solid, that the bomb guy is always going to check me. I thought, okay, test number 3. How am I going to handle this? Am I going to not look for it and just be happy and content, have a smile, and they're going to see me in a different light and let me go through? I thought, no, hang on, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking it's going to happen. Right, let's embrace it. So I picked up my bags, put them out in the air and walked straight towards him with a smile on my face and said, I'm ready. So it wasn't about getting away from it, it was actually about embracing the whole concept of it's not that big a deal. I've still got 2 hours, 2.5 hours until my plane leaves. What's 10 seconds of going through this process? So, test 3, gone, out of the way. Have something to eat, go and sit down, and by now, my body is just pounding, my head, my eyes are hanging out of my head. I couldn't close my eyes because they were so far hanging out of my head and my eyelids weren't big enough. And I was processing and still processing, and the mind was trying to take over my thoughts and wouldn't let this through, and I was just saying, forget about it, don't worry about it, you know, looking around the room. I was too tired to open my iPad and start reading. So just enjoy it, just sit back and relax. That was the concept. But still, the voices, they wanted to talk, positive talk. What can I do? What can I do? Should I be talking to people? Should I be acting now? Should I be speaking to this person? Should I be asking them questions? No, that's fine. This is the time when Joe was saying, just relax, chill out. It's not a big deal. You've got to look after you and others. So look after yourself first and then move on to others. Great, not a problem. Another person sat down. No, don't worry about it. Just sit here. Guess what? Plane's delayed. Instead of waiting 2.5 hours, we're now waiting 3.5 hours. Not a problem. Killing it. Smashing it. Still getting tired, I'm going to get home later, that's fine, not a problem. Okay, what's that, test 3, test 4, something like that. We move forward. I just realised subconsciously, what have I done? I went to book my plane, my boarding pass and my seat on the plane. Second row from the back, bang, I sat in the middle. I booked the one in the middle. I always book the window or I always book the aisle because of my size, and I don't like being stuck in the middle. For some reason this time, I stuck the middle. I thought, hang on, what have I done there? I've purposely put myself in the middle so I have to talk to one of these blokes, or females, or whoever they were going to be. As it turned out, walked down the aisle, there it is, 2 guys. One guy, 70, 75 years of age, another guy, maybe 40, so in my age bracket. Who should I talk to? Probably the guy who's about 40, but guess what? He's wearing headphones. He's telling me he doesn't want to talk. I read that, I saw that, not a problem. Talk to the 75-year-old. Mind starts thinking, but he's not in my age bracket, he's not in my realm, he's not in my market, or I don't even know what my market is yet, but hang on, he's one of those harmless audiences. What a great person to talk to. Hang on, should I be talking to him or should I just be relaxing and chilling out? And all of a sudden I had this vitality and this energy, so all my tiredness was gone. It was all about acting and doing, and I could feel this energy within me. So I sat down. What do? Asked 3 questions, simple questions that I know he's going to answer. Found out some amazing things just in those 3 questions. I could see his body language changing. I could see him wanting to talk to me. We hadn't moved. We ended up sitting on that tarmac for 20 minutes. I asked him those 3 questions, and over that next 20 minutes I think I may have squeezed 1 or 2 questions in out of that whole 20 minutes. Fantastic, not a problem. I'm using these techniques. Hey, what did I use? Let's see. What do I do? I'm a life coach. How do I explain that? It's like when people come to a fork in the road and they're not sure which direction to take, whether it's their career, their business, their relationships, all that sort of stuff. Bang, he interrupts me. What I actually thought of, my brain's going, hang on, you don't remember what came after number 2 that Joe taught you in those 7-step processes. But lo and behold, what does he do? He interrupts me, doesn't let me finish past 2. I didn't need to know the other 5. How fucking awesome is this? So I let him talk again, and I'm finding out about his business. 75-year-old, he's got so much experience, so much wealth. He's got, it's quite possible if he ends up watching this at some later date, he might be 65 or he might be 60, so my apologies there. He's got a 26-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter. I find out about his kids. I found out about his businesses and all the stuff that he's run. Geez, look off, we're taking off. And all I've done is listen and listen and listen. He's got a little bit of insight to what he's doing, but I was always making it about him and asking him the right questions. Were they the right questions? Not sure. Just asking questions, getting that practice in, which was really exciting, and I'm wide awake again. The plane takes off when we get into different subjects and different topics. So bang, I've talked about the 7 steps that Joe talks about of explaining what we do as life coaches or giving someone some insight. I didn't go through all 7, I only went through 2. He starts talking about his daughter and how she was a bit of a misfit, and she's done this course and this degree, and she's now working for a clothing company. Can't remember who they are, but they're fantastic. She seems to fit in. They want to know her. They want her to be a part of the company. Oh, hang on. She's belonging. She wants to be belonged. Bang. Smack him with the 3 universal fears. He agrees. He loves it. He laps it up. How good is this? Where has this come from? How did I remember those 3 fears? Because for the last 2 days or whenever Joe taught them, I couldn't remember the 3rd one. But as soon as I was put on the spot, they came to me in a flash. He loved that because he thought he came up with the concept of belonging. And he knew that it was his daughter that needed belonging. It wasn't me that incited that. It wasn't me that instigated it by telling him that stuff. Fantastic. So moving along, and I start to get a little bit of insight about him and what he's done and how he changes companies and makes them grow and how he looks after his staff. What does he start telling me? He's a fantastic listener. He listens. He loves listening to other people while he's telling me. For 40 minutes, 45 minutes we're into this, I've said about 10 things. Imagine that. Me, the way I talk, I only been able to say 10 things. I know, unbelievable. But we're going through these sort of phases of jumping in and out and stuff's being remembered. And then I sort of relax a bit and think, you know what, this isn't a coaching session. I don't need to coach him. Just relax a bit and just enjoy what he's got to say. Lo and behold, he turns around and asks me a question. And I'm sort of letting a little bit out and thinking, hang on, don't talk too much. This is about him, not about me. And I said to myself, you know what, it doesn't really matter. He might be interested, he might want to know, so why not give him a little bit of feedback? As soon as that thought crossed my mind, he yawned in front of me. What's he saying? I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care what you've got to say. I want to talk. Shut up and let me talk. And I went, okay, wound it up, let him keep going. So we moved on again. We're talking about his business. And this is where I found the brilliant questions started to come out. And you'll get this in a minute. This is phenomenal. And mind you, I've only done the intake weekend. I'm no expert on NLP. I do have a little bit of a sales background, so I can ask some leading questions. We're talking about marketing and where he's taken businesses and how important it is to have your sales teams going in a different direction. My question, how good is this? Okay. What do you think about networking and referrals? Bang. He's just gone, oh, I love them. It's the next best thing since sliced bread. Every business needs it. Word of mouth referrals and networking. Best thing. You don't pay for that. That's you. That's your personality. That's your company. I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I got this guy. He's going to be referring me to as many people as he can. He doesn't even realise that that's why I asked him that question. He just thinks that that's a question to do with him and his world. Fantastic. Keep going. I'm losing track of time. I never used to be a great flyer, but here we are. The captain starts speaking and we start to descend. And I'm thinking, okay, where's this going to go? Not thinking too much because I'm trying to make it about him and I'm trying to listen to what he's got to say. In the meantime, over that space of what now seems to be 90 minutes, 2 hours, somewhere around like that, we've said a lot. If it was 90 minutes, he's spoken for 87, I've spoken for 3. Awesome, love it. And then we're coming into land. So this, to me, metaphorically is saying, right, this is time to wrap up the session. How are we going to wrap this up? How is this going to finish? Can't remember where it went. He goes, hey, by the way, have you got a business card? I went, yeah, not sure. I'll have to check on that. There might be one in my bag. Don't remember. For those guys that were on the weekend, of course I got cards. I got them made up for this weekend. And I said, yeah, look, I can't think. I'll go back 2 steps. He told me about what he does. He runs a stem cell foundation, not for profit. Tells me how he runs these webinars every Tuesday. He gets all these guests. Stephen Dank was the one that I remember. He's the one with all the peptides. So whether you're from Melbourne or from Sydney, you'll understand peptides, Essendon, Cronulla, bang, NRL, AFL. So sports, you'll get it. Right, Stephen Dank, that's a big name, good. Of course, I don't take it for granted. He loves the sound of his voice, and God bless him, he's a great guy. I'm not condescending there. He was telling me about all this stuff, and I went, okay, that's really interesting. I'm really curious. What's your website? I might want to jump on. Do you actually speak on these things? He goes, yeah, I speak all the time. I love speaking to groups. Fantastic. I'll tune in. I want to hear you speak. I'm really motivated by what you've got to say. And you can see the lights going on, and he's ticking, and he's loving this. He's lapping it up. He's loving the attention. So he gets up, the plane's landed, all that sort of stuff, goes up, grabs my bags, hands them to me, and I sit there fluffing around. I know exactly where my cards are, my business cards or my contact cards. I know exactly where they are in the front of my pouch. I'm not going there straight away. I'm waiting for him to bring his bag down and to hand me his business card. He goes, here, have a look at my website, check it out. By the way, have you got one of those cards? I muffled around, I went, oh, you know what? I've only got one of my old cards, and hand it to me. He goes, oh, that's all right, that's fine, as long as it's got your contact details on it. Brilliant. Cool, awesome, love it. I can't wait to check out your website. He goes, awesome, you know what we'll do? Sometime in the future, I'll get you to come and speak for me. Holy hell, he's just asked me to come and speak for him. I said, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, tell me, what sort of following have you got on your website? Thinking, you know, he's this sort of age, it's just some not-for-profit thing he started. There might be 100 people or something like that. It says 10,000. How good's that? 10,000 people following through his website, and he's got 3,300 members or likes or whatever it is on Facebook. So, wow, where I've gone from the beginning when I just walked out of the intake room and got knocked for 6 for, you know, my ego getting in the way. I've just gone from there in the space of 4 hours to a bloke saying, I want you to talk in front of my whole crowd of 10,000 friggin' people. I'm on cloud friggin' 9. I'm loving this. So, why am I saying this? It is that simple. Follow what Joe says. Focus, find meaning to it and act on it. And I'm hoping that you guys in my group and anyone else that wants to watch this can take from that and realise how simple it is. It's just about acting and getting out there and doing it. And if you need motivation within yourself, or you need someone to be accountable to, be accountable to these videos. You're not going to get it from me personally, you can get it from the video, so you don't have to answer to me, or if you want to, pick up the phone and call me or email me. I don't care. If I'm making a difference to me and I'm growing, that's fantastic for me. If I can make a difference to other people, that's even better again. But I'm loving this journey. Joe, I love you, mate. You're the best bloke I've ever met. You've changed my life. Whether I went and saw someone else, they can't do that because you're the only one that could do what they did. And the group did for me over the weekend. I love you. God bless you. Take care. Bye.